Hey. All right, hey folks, we're gonna work on some massive ship designs for the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book right now. Let me check my signal here. I'll go through a quick intro spiel if you've been here before, and this is the future. Hey, future! But if you're catching this in the future, you can skip ahead like a minute, maybe less, and just catch up with me on the other side of this when we get to work. But me on the other side of this when we get to work. Seems like it's coming through okay. Yeah, volume's good. Cool. Okay, great. So I'm just going to walk through my intro here and then we'll get to work. So my name's Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them online. I've been focusing attention on Spelljammer since Wizards of the Coast updated the setting in August 2022. I have a playlist down below that you can take a look at that basically runs through from observation to completion. What words am I trying to use? We basically walk through looking at the intro stuff, like what mechanics were there, and then we built a book. It took 19 months to do it. It's currently on DMsGuild.com. There's a link down below. I'm stumbling a little bit over my intro because I had a problem figuring out where I was with my copy pasta. So I'm behind schedule on my intro spiel and maneuvering windows, so I'm currently stalling to catch up. But yeah, I mean, I've been DMing since 1987. I bought Spelljammer box set when it first came out, like what, 89? Loved it, and then when Spelljammer came out like in 90, or when Planescape out like in 92, was it 91? Anyway, good blend, working those both together. I love seeing that 5th edition with the Astral Sea. I've caught up on my intro spiel here, so yay. Let's drop this out of the way. Okay, cool. So yeah, here's a full playlist of all of the episodes from the first episode of cracking open the Spelljammer stuff all the way up through completion. The book is done now, so it's here on DMsGuild. You can grab it off the front page if you want to. It's currently number 2. It's been arguing with the first 3 books. I'm really proud of that. And thanks a lot to everybody for their support of the work. Go check it out. It has an extensive free preview. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of when we're live in the future. You can follow me on the Twitter platform at Phil Kearney if you wish. Otherwise, I created this book cover back around episode 15, which again is here in the playlist. After we grokked that we could do this, we got to work. And I like to start with the book cover at the beginning of the project, so that as I continue moving through the project, it isn't something it's a massive, like the book cover always takes the longest of any piece of art that I'm going to do. So I like to get that out of the way. So it was episode 15 out of like 350 something. But, oh yeah, that reminds me. Let's click here, and you can crack open the full preview here. I've got a point here, so hold on. I'm not just throwing my weight around and bragging about shit. Pre-generated ships. Okay, so there's a bunch of ships here, right? These are all the 16 ships that were published in the Spelljammer's Adventures in Space supplement that Wizards of the Coast created. The big problem was that it didn't have any real ship mechanics in it, like how to fight and all the stuff that goes on with travel and all that stuff. It was really kind of glossed over, and it's up to the DM. And the great thing, that's nice that DMs have the right to, have the freedom to do whatever they want. They always have. But when you're paying money for a product, this is not a new thought. When you're paying for a product, you want to make sure that there's enough texture there, to enough crunch for it to be worth the price tag. Flavor is cool, but crunch is necessary. And there was already vehicle mechanics for boats in Saltmarsh, land vehicles like trucks, and Mad Max stuff in Descent into Avernus. They set up the expectation that we would see ship mechanics for Spelljammer, and they just said, just go look at Saltmarsh, and that was generally unsatisfying. So we rebuilt the combat system so that it would have action economy that characters can use actually during combat, using their own action economy. You could blend these roles freely, like on a small craft. You could be both the pilot and the siege commander, as well as supporting your crew. So it's just a matter of how are you wanting to spend your character's action economy per round. If you're making an action, if you have multiple attacks, then you can use each of them to issue commands for your crew of NPC siege crew to load and aim and fire weapons for you. Of course, you can use your own action economy with actions, bonus actions, reactions to load, aim, and fire weapons all by yourself, but it's slower. So if you have a crew of people, you can speed up, you can compound their action economy to work with you to be able to fire potentially multiple times per round. And if you're a pilot, you've got all these melee weapons that your ship can use. There's bonus actions. Squadron commander can oversee multiple ships at the same time. So this increased action economy allows us to use ships as, I mean, if you were to wild shape into a giant dragonfly, this is kind of how this stuff would go down. So that's kind of the idea. You take the helm, you're basically assuming your spirit is infusing the ship. You can then articulate and move it like its limbs. So you have all these attacking weapons on your ship, like stabbing rams with or piercing rams with your claws. The feet that you're crawling around on the ground on. Scorpions have the claws as well as these piercing rams and multiple weapons on its tail and on its back. So, I mean, this is Spelljammer, right? But you have multiple crews that are operating this, but the pilot can actually animate and move this around and doing melee attacks like a Chimera would be able to do in a dungeon against characters, or if you polymorphed into one, then against whatever, like ogre or hill giant, whatever it is that you're fighting. This is basically what we're doing with machinery, large size mecha, and here are smaller fighter craft. Each of these squares up here, each of these squares is 50 feet. Down here, each square is 5 feet. Like here's a spiderling fighter craft, and here's a warbird. These are like, this is a 50-foot bird. This is a 40-foot spider. This is a 80-foot wide manta ray. Just a simple skiff that's 20 feet in size. An elliptic cuttlefish, which is also 20 feet in size, is terrifying as a piece of machinery as a like an adult dragon would be. So watch yourself. And then just a little goblin arrows, like a little fighter craft. And so, but none of the ships here are larger than 250 feet. But the mechanics that we have inside the book allow you to basically a minor helm can empower anything up to 50 feet in size, and a major spelljamming helm can empower anything up to 500 feet in size. So the entire book is built around a 5-foot, 50-foot, 500-foot scaling combat system that you can interact with at different layers on different maps at the same time. If you're using a virtual tabletop, you can segment off, like make a 70-foot board, like 30-foot, 30-foot, 40-foot, or whatever it is that you want to do. Or it's like if it's 30 squares, that's like 10 squares each, 1 square each, so you can have it segmented into like 90 squares. It could be 30 by 30 by 30, which allow you to have like a 3 by 3 board of 10 squares each. Or if you did 30 feet wide, it could be 10 feet, 10 square, 10 squares, 10 square, which at the 5-foot scale would be 50 feet, and then in the center, 50-foot squares to be 500 feet across, and then at the far right, the last 10 could be 500-foot squares for a full mile. Those are your 3 scales of combat that you operate at, which is explained obviously here in the preview. So you can check it all out if you're interested. There's like 100 different tokens and maps. If you're interested in purchasing it, you get all of the, like, these are all tokens that are that you can use on maps. We provide space maps and just grids and all the stuff for Light of Zaraxis for you to be able to run the adventure using these combat systems. And we added in extra encounters so that you would have more opportunities in Light of Zaraxis to engage in combat like that, as well as at the fleet level to engage the, spoiler alert, in Act 4, the Zaraxian Armada. You can fight it with your own ragtag fleet of rebels and attack the Armada and potentially defeat them, and then raid the Citadel, the Imperial Citadel. So all of those are maps for you guys to use if you want to explore playing Light of Zaraxis in this manner. So, but there's only 250-foot ships, but Spelljammer helms can operate technically a ship up to 500-foot in scale, like the Elven Monarchs, which are carrier ships that typically carry 100 flitter craft to basically dive bomb people and just flood the sky with fighter craft, Macross style, super cool. There's the 450-foot ogre mammoth. There's the 500-foot dreadnought, which is an Illithid craft, and the mine spider we can reimagine as it was. Rumor has it was misillustrated and missized on accident. So the night spider is 100 feet, but we can build a 500-foot mine spider, which is like a master, just a huge a carrier ship, an imperial ship for like a Yogi that would be the commandant of the admiral of a fleet of night spider craft. It would have its massive mine spider as the master craft, and it could have a flood of little spiderling fighter craft that pours out of it, like bursting out of its abdomen like I don't know, like what are those things, like a black widow with all its children exploding and then eating it. But no eating. It would just explode out and then flood like the Armada. Like, so you could have like an elven monarch with 100 footer ships against a Neogi mine spider with its swarm of spiderlings. That would be a really cool fight, and it's no more difficult. It's no more difficult than summoning 4 dogs to attack with you. It's a little bit of extra action economy, but instead of the druid commanding 4 dogs and everyone waiting for them to be done, each of you are in command of a dog. Or like, say you summon a velociraptor and you jump on its back, and you can use your action economy to make the velociraptor run and bite things or jump and claw into stuff. And you could use some of your spare, if you wanted to, like use a spare attack to like fire a bow at an enemy nearby. That's the kind of vibe that we have, but it's at the 500-foot scale. So since there's nothing that's larger than 250 foot, the purpose of this endeavor is to create 500-foot craft, all those different craft. And we're going to start off with the least likely subject, which is Vocath's base from Light of Xeraxis. So this is the illustration that's in the book. I'm just borrowing this here for reference. I'm not violating any copyrights here. Thank you. But this is Vocath's base. So what we've done is we've reimagined it as a mecha, where this side tower, this opens up to be a lens, and it slides around here to then stand over, to then be positioned over the center of the arena. And so there's the arena here, and if you know the adventure, Vocath, the guy, the arcane, the mercane that controls this place, that owns it, he has a mirror of trapped souls that he can then activate to project creatures into the arena, and then your characters fight them. That's the third act of the latter half of Doomspace. But what we're proposing is that the battle station, the base can reconfigure, so this whole structure rotates around like a transformer and clicks into position so that it is mounted over here, so he can use the mirror of soul trapping and project any creature trapped inside of it up to a mile away, or instead can use it like a laser beam to deal 2d8 times 10 radiant damage to any ship that it hits that fails its dexterity saving throw. And like heavy tanky metal ships have shit, you can't use your dexterity bonus to try to dodge when you're in heavy material, but it has more damage reduction, as opposed to a ship that's made of light material. You can use your dexterity modifier, but it has very little. It doesn't have nearly as much armor on it as the heavy metallic ships do. So there's a neat little trade-off there. So you want to introduce things that require ships to make saving throws, dexterity and constitution saving throws frequently, so that you can use the different bonuses and advantages that different material ships benefit from, which are in the mechanics we have in the book. So this is a Death Ray. It does 2d8 times 10 radiant damage, so that could be up to 160 damage that it does. A Star Moth, coincidentally, has 400 hit points, so this can tear down, assuming that Vocath keeps succeeding at his recharge check, he'd be able to tear apart an elven Star Moth in pop 3 shots while it's within a mile of him. Or you could use these giant claws on the front end or these massive legs as piercing weapons, and they do the claws do d12 times 10 damage a pop, and the claws do D8. The piercing legs do D8 times 10. Oh no, sorry. Trebuchet. There's trebuchet on the underbelly that does D8 times 10. The rams do D12 times 10 unless it's charging. If it moves at least 500 feet, it can use these claws to ram to deal double damage and automatically grapple your ship. It could then use its claws to grab hold to also further grapple you with 3 points of contact and then begin crushing you as a bonus action each round. While it has other legs free that can go chunk, 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 it can just start stabbing the hell out of the base of your ship, only doing D12 times 10 piercing damage only. So if this thing can get a jump on a ship and latch hold of it, it can tear apart a star moth, a Xeraxian star moth, in about 60 points, 120 to close distance, plus 60 points for a claw attack. He's out of attacks. He could then use a bonus action to issue fire from trebuchet. Say 2 towers for the trebuchet hit. He occupies 10 squares, so he could do a full volley, or he could do a full volley of 10d8 times 10 trebuchet damage against a single target. If he's holding onto it, he would be able to brutalize it like that. So he could basically 80. That'd be 4. Yeah, just a full volley of trebuchet, but he wouldn't be able to do a full volley like that for about 5 rounds. So it's a great opening silo to basically launch into and destroy a squadron of star moths that would have 400, 600, 800, a full squadron of star moths. I haven't really thought out the math here, so I'm just kind of thinking out the math here. So if this sounds real random and shit, it is, because I'm really spitballing here real quick, just because I know what the maths are and I haven't really thought them out before. So here's a squadron. Here's a full squadron of star moths. There's 4 of them in formation. It fits within a 500-foot square. Each square is 50 feet. A star moth is 200 feet long. It has basically 100 hit point per 50 feet. With that's the scaling of damage in Spelljammer. So it's 400 damage, and this one has 400, and this one has 400, and this one has 400. So if I launch a volley of here's the crab that we're building at the 500-foot scale. What a beast. So I'm going to be working on the gearboxes and machinery here that's on the underbelly of this, while the top side remains this this type of, it still has the arena. We could fold up these flaps so that they're, hold on. If we fold up these flaps, they can act as defense points to prevent entry into the facility, and it gets out of the way of the legs or the crab or the claws on the crab. So by these things folding up, you're securing the area, and now you're opening all this stuff up, because all of this stuff underneath here, this is where the like, you can literally see there's a leg right here, man. It's like right there. They're like, and there's another leg over here. And there's another, like, they were so close. It's like they were thinking about this, but they didn't have the time or budget to really do it. So allow me to be your Spelljammer that wasn't. how vain. But yeah, this is super cool stuff, man. So these fold up. There's 8 ships. When you get to Vocath's place, the arena stuff is going on. There's 8 ships in total that are there, including Vocath's. So if you're going to be attacked by a fleet of 12 star moths, then we can group these into their own squadron as well, and they would occupy a 500-foot space. So I could go through that process with us right here, right now. Get this out of the way. So this is the underbelly that we're currently building. This is a turret tower formation. Here, I'll show you. Here's my 20-minute timer to make sure I'm on track with what I want to do for the night. Here is a 50-foot tower with 3 trebuchet on them. It's a tower, so we can transplant these onto here. This is a 50-foot square, so this can fit here, and that becomes a 3d8 times 10 trebuchet tower. So when you're doing a full volley like this at the scale of fleets, the damage, even though this has what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even though it has a total of 18 trebuchets down there, The way that squadrons work is whenever you fire a volley, it does however many 50-foot squares your ship occupies. And in this case, it'd be a 10 by 10 space at the 50-foot scale. That means it's its own squadron of totaling 10. It wouldn't be 100. It'd be 10. So it's a 10 by 10. It's its own 10 by 10 squadron. So it would do 10d8 times 10 damage, because that's the amount of damage that they do. There you go. So that's how fleet mechanics work. And then the reload score would become, wow, with a third rank crew, the reload score would be 4. The reload score for a single squadron, it's the number of scores. Yeah, it's the number of scores that it occupies minus the crew. So the reload score would be a 7. So on a 10-sided die, you'd have to roll a 7 or above as part of your attack action for these weapons to be able to automatically reload for another full volley. So there's a decent chance that Vocath can get this thing to crack off around 10d8. That's going to be 4,400. A full volley of these is going to have basically a 2 out of 3 times success rate of being able to do 400 points of damage per attack. So that's a good chunk of change that's going to be able to do. And if it can fire it off twice per round, that's going to destroy two star moths per round. And if that siege damage is being outsourced to minions, then Vocath in the Spelljamming helm would be able to operate the claws and the piercing the claws and the piercing rams to be able to inflict D12, however many attacks you can get in. He's a Mercane, so he gets 2 attacks plus a bonus action, so that's 3 attacks. So he can deal 120 points of damage with claws. So he can take apart an elven star moth by himself with just that ship in about 2-3 rounds. And that's on. But then there's also the 8 other ships that are there. So if the team will be able to detect the fleet 10 minutes before arriving, which if you scuttle for an emergency, like if you put the pedal to the metal, these 8 ships can get geared up and form up into squadrons themselves of comparable power to Vocath's of crab by itself. The 500-foot crab is basically its own squadron. While it's basically equal, it's more powerful than the 4 star moths in formation together. So there's 3 squadrons of star moths, and we should probably figure out how many squadrons we're going to build out of the ally ships. So I'm going to go, let's see, Endless Days, LTA, there we go, LTA. Spelljammer production, thank you. These are the assets that are included in the adventure when you buy the book. So I'm going to go into the ships, and just in case you didn't know, each ship has its own little battle log that you can keep track of, like a character sheet. Makes it real easy. But I want vessels. I want to grab, what do we need? We need a damselfly. We need no flying fish. There is a lamprey, so we'll grab one of those. We have our living ship. There's a scorpion. There's a shrike. There's 2 space galleons. I'm going to grab the star moth for reference. And is there a wasp? Yeah. And wasp. So we're going to open all of those so we can extract them and build squadrons out of them. So let's just grab, again, these are all tokens that are included if you buy the book. And they work, freaking fantastic in virtual tabletop. I'm a big Roll20 enthusiast, and that's what these things are built for, is to occupy the space. There, let's copy that and go to here. It's there, and then I can close that out. And I can go here, copy here, plop, put that in place. Close that out. This will take a moment. Hold on. Close that out. Copy, paste, bop. Copy, paste. Get that out of the way. Copy, paste. Get that out of the way. Copy, paste. Get that out of the way. Copy, paste, and get rid of that. Okay, so now we've imported all of our tokens. Let me collapse and conceal. Oh wait, I need the. Let's take that grid out of the ship. Let's put it here. That seems like a good, smart place for it to be. Cool. So let's see. We conceal the ship, and let's build some shit. So 3x3. Everything's sized already. You get this grid map. Everything's just perfectly sized. It all fits together. It's all meant to. Make it very, very easy for you. You can print these if you wanted to. If people are interested, I can provide black and white versions of these. Here's the Star Moth. You know, so it's easy to laser print. I'll get to that. I'll probably get to it eventually. I have most of this stuff already ready to be packaged. I just need to package it, and everyone knows how much I hate packaging. So actually, let's grab these and conceal them for a moment. Duplicate that, and then right over. Push it over. Okay, then drop these down. Let's see. What are we doing? Okay, so that's a squadron. Star Moth Squadron. And there's 3 of them, right? Remember the illustration? This is you hanging out at Vocath's place, and this is what happens when they all show up. This might feel like cheap filler space to you, and I don't blame you for feeling that way, because it's cheap filler space, but it's giving you visual language. You don't see ship tokens on maps in books. It felt useful to just add that stuff, and I recognize it padded the hell out of a half a page. So I mean, I totally benefited from being able to collapse my time frames getting this thing done. But again, this is how you can depict how ships sit in grids on maps. They have hovering capabilities. They can just freely move backwards and forwards, and it's just like normal D&D combat. If you're like a fairy that had, or like an air elemental that had perfect maneuverability, or you had the fly spell on, you have hover. You can do that. So, yeah. So that's a squadron. There's 3 of them. So I can conceal that. Let's peel this one over. Let's go with allies. So what I want to do is unpack this. See, okay, so a squadron occupies a maximum of 10 squares. And I know there is some, how to say, what's the word? Scale. There is some scaling flaws inside of here, because this is a 3x3, and this is a 3x3, and this is a 3x3. That is a 9x9 squad, right? And compare that to Vocath, which is occupying 100. Like, this is like 9 squares and 9 squares and 9 squares. That's 27 squares compared to the 100 that Vocath is occupying. 10 by 10, it's 100, right? But only one face is counted as your scale. So it's 10, even though it's 10 by 10 and 100 squares, it's only 10. So it's a 10 by 10, which means it occupies 10 squares. So this is in fleet combat. This ship with 1,000 hit points, dealing 10d8 times 10 damage per round with its trebuchet is only slightly outpacing the amount of damage that this 3x3, 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 which is a 9x9, dealing 90. Well, considering like if these are second in Light of Xeraxis, these would be second rank commanders. So second rank is a d6, so they'd be dealing 96 times 10 damage. In this instance, yes, Vocath is dealing considerably more damage because is he a higher CR? Because if he's a CR 9 plus, it's up to 1, up to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 plus. Right. So if it's CR 9 or 9, 10, 11, 12, no. Up to 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thank you. 10, 11, 12, 13. Thank you. If he's a CR 10 or higher, then it's a third rank and he'll do D8s. If he's only a second, only up to CR 9, then it does a number. It does size times 6. It's D4, D6, D10, D12, D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and fifth rank is 17th to 20th level for characters, or 14th or CR 14 or higher. That's just how the system worked out. So, D&D Mercane. Let's go on a journey through sound. Why is D&D Beyond, with its like $500 million price tag, not the automatic first choice for any time you type in D&D, something that's on the D&D website? I digress. Mercane, what is your CR? I bet it's 9. Oh, it's only 5. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5. Holy crap. Okay, so he's only second rank. So this would also be doing 10d6 times 10 damage because of the because of his rank. There you go. But the claws do d12s because it's for every 100 feet. It's an added die. 100 feet is D4, D6, 300 feet is D8, D10, 500 feet is D12. So the claws are melee weapons on a 500-foot vessel, so it does D12 times 10 damage. If he fires all those weapons as a silo in one shot, it would be 10d6 times 10 because he, as a commander, can only have, that's the amount of damage they can deal. So that's actually a little bit less damage than I thought. But he could also drop down to the siege commander size, and instead of commanding the ship as a whole, command each trebuchet platform as individuals, and they could do 3d8 times 10 each because there's 3 trebuchet on a tower, and there's 6 towers. Let's see. If he fires all of them as 10d6 times 10 damage, the reload score is only a 7, which is beyond what he can even do as a commander because he's rolling a d6. He can't even roll a 7. So he's guaranteed to be able to fire that silo only once unless he has enough action economy left over, like the reaction to reload, and then make another attack. How many attacks? Multi-attack. Can make 3 psi imbued blade. But only 1 psi imbued blade. So he'd be able to attack with the laser 3 times because it's a psi attack. Mind blade. But wait, psi imbued mind blade. Oh no, those are 3 physical attacks. There you go. Yes, but he has psionic abilities, and does he have an at-will psionic ability? At will. Detect magic and light. Those are cantrips. Requiring the Mercane can cast one of the following spells requiring no components and using intelligence as a spellcasting ability check. Blah. Invisibility, mage armor. Okay, so he has spells, dimension door, invisibility, mage armor, self only. These are 3 spell-like abilities he can cast once per day. He can basically fire that laser weapon 3 times. It would cast his dimension door, his invisibility, and his mage armor. But he'd be able to fire it as a cantrip using detect magic and light at will. Since those are cantrip abilities, it would deal mounted weapon damage. And the maximum amount of damage that you do with mounted weapon damage is D4 times 10. So he could deal a measly D4 times 10. So in that case, instead of treating it as an individual weapon, let's treat it as a squadron attack. as though it were a squadron, in which case it would deal as his command score d6 times 10. There's the individual weapon and what can the individual weapon do, and then there's if you treat something as a squadron, how much damage can the squadron do? And normally when you're dealing with a single ship, it's going to be whatever that single ship's ability is. But because this ship is so much larger, it's 500 feet. The mechanics are technically built for 250-foot ships or smaller. You could, if you wanted to, overstack it and call it a squadron when it's advantageous for you to do so. You have that freedom to treat it as a squadron or as a siege weapon. You can do it either way. But the reload score is different. To act as a siege commander and fire all 6 of those trebuchet towers all at the same time, all 27 of them, that would have a reload score of, oh my brain hurts, 3 times 18, 54. So he could fire all of them as a single 54d 8 times 10 silo and just absolutely decimate something. But it'd be a single attack roll, and pilots can basically make a saving throw and avoid all damage as a reaction. And then it would have a reload score of 54, so he would then have to spend time reloading each individual trebuchet tower using his own action economy or somebody's action economy to get them to reload their weapons, because they won't do it automatically if you don't roll the reload score on his d6. So if he fires as a squadron, it's only 10d6 times 10 damage, but it only has a reload score of 7, and it counts as a single attack. So he, as a single command, would be able to get enough of them automatically reloaded to be able to deal 10d6 damage times 10 again. So excuse me for a second. So I've rambled enough. So that's the difference in how it's either a reload score of 7 and he'll fail it, but it's only a single weapon, or he could fire all 54 of them together, all 27 of them together to have 54, and you have to reload. It has to spend a shitload of time getting them all to put themselves back together again. If you fire it as a siege weapon, you can reload it as a siege weapon. If you fire it as an individual silo, a silo of individual weapons, you have to reload it as a silo of individual weapons. It's just the give and take of the result of scaling in and out of combat. So anyway, so this is a squadron can be up to 10, so you can fit, if we go back and think about that Star Moth squadron, this is technically 2 squadrons, but it's technically a fleet of 6 squadrons, but we have 2 squadrons in a tight formation, counting as a single squadron. So that's kind of how the thought process goes on there. So we can similarly group up a bunch into a tight formation inside this 500-foot square as well. So let's disassemble that. Let's take this, and that's a 2x2. And this is a 2x2. Let's grab these 2 here and scooch them over to here. What do we got? This is a 3x3. That's a 2x2. 2, 4, 6, 9. Okay. And then there was a second. There was a second galleon. So we could put the galleon. Maybe we could do that, because you don't have to fill up a squadron if you don't want to. You can make it smaller. Like these 2 together would be a 6x6 squadron. So that's pretty easy, right? So a 6x6, and that means that these 3 here, oops, misjoined. There. Burp, burp, burp. So this is a 6x6. This is a 9x9. And this is a 6. You see that? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. Yeah. How do I do this? 6 and 6. and 6, and then we have an extra 3. How can I break this up into even numbers? I could do 5 and 5 and 5 and 6. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. And these all fit within a single 500-foot square. So we can have these grouped into their individual units here. So let's recombine these a little differently, like that and that. There and here. There we go. Yeah, I don't think I want them like that. I think I want them buddying up. I think I want them more buddy-buddy. So let's scoot you over here and drop you back here. Actually, is there a different way we could organize these? How do we have, okay, so when you assemble your fleet, this is how things break down. So the Scorps and Galleons are already working together, but otherwise everyone else is separated. These are the Mercanes working with your characters, so those are all split apart. Okay, I see how this works. We can do it like this. The Scorpions and the Hadozi are allies, or they're being framed as allies in the squadrons that we do up there, so it makes sense that we would reflect that here as well. So let me swap at you here. This is part of the... I know we're not actually doing any Vocath artwork right now, but this is part of... I'll be putting this on... I'm going to be bundling this with the Spelljammer book. So I'll make it for a couple bucks, and then I'll like drop it down to $1 or $2 with the Spelljammer, with the actual Spelljammer combat and exploration document. Like I'll bundle it with this thing. Like this is currently $20 and has a coupon of $15. Once I bundle this, I can just lock this in the bundle to be $15. And then like if I made this like $4, I could then drop it down to $1. So it'd be, well, yeah, I'll say it's $5, and this is $20. That's $25, and I'll drop down. No, I'll make it $4. Yeah, $4 for this, and then $1 in a bundle. So by themselves, they're $24. If you bundle them together, they're $16. That's a 33% discount. There you go. So added value. You pick this up for $15. You get this for $1. And once this is built, we'll be able to do like the Armada and the Ogre Mammoth and the Illithid Dreadnought and the Nyogi Mind Spider, and we'll be able to build fleets out of all those ships. So you can see how you can be able to use them, so they become their own little adventure pack. Like here is your fleet that you're going to have, that you can throw against enemies or have challenge your team once they start building their own fleets. So you can build these things out. We can have personalities in them, give them names and goals and shit. Fuck, man, maybe I'll even hire like somebody who's a big enthusiast of Spelljammer off the DMsGuild and have them, you know, create a story with me or something. Like, what are these dudes up to? That'd be fucking cool. I'd be super clown down with that. Oh my god, is this skewed? Wow. I'm gonna have to fix that token because that's like ugly as sin, my guy. Look at that, it's off center. How was I thinking? I clearly made a mistake, so I'm gonna have to go in and fix this in my own time and update the document. I'll update this. I'll make it right. It should be there. Now I got this weird wiggly stuff, so I'm just gonna leave that be for now. And we'll come back and we'll fix it. I think I knew I was supposed to fix that and forgot it. So okay, cool. Let's make a let's make a note. Take a note. Recheck centering of all ship tokens. Galleon is off, and I know that Night Spider air is too dark. I already know there was a mistake, so this is the second mistake that I found. So I need to fix it. Even with as much time as I took, I was still just rushing myself a little bit, wasn't I? So let's make this is the team. Your characters. It would be the second breath is the living ship here that I'm moving, and then there's the potentially you also have the last breath on board with Garganhail, the space pirate that you pick up as an ally. So you could potentially have two ships right now. If you wanted to, you could potentially bring Captain Sarlona along with you if she was down to clown with y'all. That's perfectly legit if you wanted to do that. It's not built into the adventure, but I could easily build a little side, like a little $2 piece thing just to toss in as an add-on. That'd be fun to make things cheap. But hook her up inside the battles so that you'd have all three of the ships working together. That'd be really, really fun. Yeah, not front and back. I want it side by side. Equals. Yeah, except this guy's too big. Oh, that makes sense. This is Vocath's ship. So he would have to leave that under the charge of underlings. Your team could be aboard the Damselfly. Because if you're in command of one ship, if you're in command of a squadron, it doesn't matter what ship you're on as long as y'all can communicate. Do I like that? It's good enough. But we can see one. Here, there, that's how your squadrons are at. And that would have a total of 10, 21. So that'd be 21. Vocath's is 10. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4 squadrons. Reload score is 21. You're going to fail that. You're only rolling a D6 at your 7th level at this point. So you're only rolling a D6. So that would mean that you'd have to spend an action, bonus action, an attack action, a bonus action, or a reaction to reload each one of these squadrons. So you could have them all fire as 21d6 times 10 damage, but then you'd have to spend an action, 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 and action before you could fire them all again. If there were 4 people on your team, you could have 1, 2, each character could be a commander of each individual squadron. So you'd have a reload score of 5. it's listed. It's a 5x5, but the reload score would be that's 5, and we're looking at second rank crew. So the reload score would only be a 3 for each of these. Here it'd be a 4. Hey, Heretico, it's good to see you, my guy. So if you're rolling D6s, because you're 7th level, you're rolling a D6 command die when you're making the instead of your proficiency die, you roll a command die. So it's a D20 plus whatever your combat stat is, like intelligence or dexterity, whatever it is that you're using. It's your choice. So D20 stat and then a D6 instead of +3 proficiency bonus. So that's how that's your attack roll, and that D6 is also your reload score. So all of these having second rank crews is a 5x5 dealing 5d6 times 10 damage per hit, and dealing reloading on a 3 on a D6. So you have a 2 in 3 chance, or a 66% chance of automatically reloading this if a four character party was operating their own squadron inside of this assembled fleet. And then you have Vocath, who, if you have 5 people on your team, you could have people also sharing action economy on Vocath's battle crab. So let's go ahead and drop these out of view. Bloop, and get back to work. Here's our ship. So this occupies a 500-foot square. This is Vocath's battle crab. So it's it's 500 feet. So unto itself, it can act as its own 10 by 10 squadron. So it would basically be, there's 21 worth of ships plus this. That's 31. That's 31 squares worth of ships, for lack of a better word, right? These occupy a total of 31 spaces at the 50-foot scale. And then we have the Star Moths. There's 3 squadrons of Star Moths, and, well, there's 6 squadrons of 8. So it's 6 times 8 is 48. So it's the allies with Vocath is 31 squares, and the Star Moths occupy 48 squares. So there are significantly more Star Moth firepower than what the characters have. But the characters can do cool stuff, like Vocath can use an action to use its mirror amplifier and beam a megapede onto the deck of one of the Star Moths. Now the Star Moth is literally wrestling with a 150-foot Star Moth, or a megapede. He could teleport the 2 Braxits onto another Star Moth, and now they've got 2 huge-sized creatures that are basically picking up and throwing siege weapons and tearing the wings off of the craft. And the elves are like, we can't fight right now. We have Braxits to deal with, so that takes them out of the fight. So each round, the Mercane can project these creatures onto the decks of Star Moths, and you don't have to deal with it. It's just happening in the background that this thing is just tearing apart these ships, and like they're going to retreat. So you're going to be able to knock this thing down from 48 next round down to 44, then 40 automatically each round as it goes, while your team is popping it for what, 10d6? Yeah, 5d6 times 10, with probably firing 2, maybe 3 times per round. So you're doing probably around, what is that, 5d6 times 10, up to 300 damage, probably on average 150, take out the damage reduction, probably about 120 damage per round per ship. So you're going to be able to knock out another Star Moth every, well, a squadron of you if you're all working together, making shots, calling out the same squadron targets. They have 1,600. You'll be able to do around 400. Yeah, you'll each character should be able to take out their own Star Moth once per round. So there's 4, maybe 5 characters on your team. It would be at most a 3 or 4 round of combat for you to be able to chase off their squadron, like to deal at least half damage. If they lose half their Star Moths, they're gonna just freaking exit. So, and then if some of the fleet ships, if some of these ships get destroyed, suddenly they're stranded. We need you to take us to your people, to our people, so that we can help you assemble a fleet, because we can't fly there on our own. We just lost our ship. So you help them get there, and you help assemble the fleet with them, and then you bring them back with you. So you can assemble that fleet by helping those that lost their ships to go fetch more. Hey, what's up? A fish themed Spelljammer ship? Yeah, there aren't really. There's the flying fish. The flying fish and the lampreys kind of. It kind of counts, but the flying fish is literally the only fish that is currently in this set. Well, the squid probably doesn't count. And the hammerhead, that's a shark. That counts. So there are a few fish. Some. I took a really cool picture of a brass. It was a steampunk catfish ship that was a statue at some store in Tennessee. But it was really fucking. It was Bass Pro Shop. It was a mechanical, like a metal frame built out of parts. But it was a sculpture of a catfish, and it was under glass. It was really cool. It was at the entrance. But I took pictures of it. I should upload those pictures to show you guys, and then build that ship. That could be another 500-foot ship. It was a bass. There you go. Well, like a catfish, something like that. I think it was a catfish. Anyway, yeah, it would be pretty cool. It was very broad, you know. It was very hammerhead ship in design, but it would be wider, tubbier. At a 500-foot scale, that'd be a big old trawler. So anyway, I could make it. That could be like a Vocath. Oh, a Kuatoa! Oh my God, a Kuatoa ship, and the water, the air bubble's full of water, and it's just a giant catfish. Holy crap, that would be super cool. Yeah. Let's add that to the Barbie, shall we? Kuatoa, 500-foot catfish. Oh my God, and they have scavers. They have scaver sharks as minions. Holy shit, that's amazing. Scaver riders. Oh, fuck, this is cool. Holy shit, that's hardcore. Let's go back to our document here. Let's make sure we save this under our pocket of ideas. Let's go to, holy crap, that's so fucking cool. Production, Vocath crab, folder, mega ships. And we'll go Kuatoa. Catfish 500. And they have those crazy cultist priests that would be great for amplifying spells. Oh God, they could do psychic weapons, because like water themed stuff is always psychic because you don't have to talk, right? So like psychic stuff, it's like they have like psionic lances that can blast things up to a mile away. Maybe like just do a giant destruction beam. Fucking cool. Oh my God, how awesome. All right, I feel sufficiently geeked out right now. We'll add it to the list. We'll have to make a list and just randomize which one we're going to do next. But holy crap, that's cool. Thanks for being here, Hornetico. I appreciate the inspiration, my guy. That was fucking pure brainstorming gold, my man. I couldn't have done it without you. All right, let's get to work. I am utterly inspired. I mean, this is my casual Monday, Thursday stuff to do. I'm gonna have that playtest firing up here pretty soon, and there's a non-zero chance that it's gonna be on Thursday or Monday. I'm gonna lose something. I have to lose Monday, Thursday, or Saturday. I don't know which one I'm going to lose. I am legitimately lamenting all of it, but playtesting is just so important. It has to be done. And those are the only real times I have available for me to do any testing. So I am sad that I will have to give up one of these days, because these are effectively Spelljammer days. But on the other side, the faster I get done with Eberron, the more I can focus time on this stuff. And I think I'll be able to create the Eberron adventure much more swiftly because of the experience that I acquired building the Ladder of Xeraxis challenge. So I think this is all going to work out a-okay for me. God, I haven't done anything with Kuo-toa in like for freaking ever. What a fucking awesome opportunity. So cool. Oh. That's pretty good. Up. Yeah, I spent some quality time with the gal this weekend. We binged a little bit of Three Body Problem. That is a pretty cool show. I've been aware of the books for quite some time, but I don't really read anymore because my vision's not really good. So I can't read like I used to be able to. So if I could have, I guess I probably could have audiobooked it. But that just wasn't the space I was in. Let's see. Probably. But yeah, highly recommend. Great show. I understand they're amazing books. But I can contest that I can affirm that it is a really good show. Something like that. Maybe I want to go fetch. Oh, you're saying something. What's up? Ah, right on. Yeah. Holy shit. So cool. The Scavers and oh my god, so fucking cool. What a cool book. Oh my god. Now I'm imagining like an armored, like a mechanized aboleth, like an aboleth mecha suit, where it's like a 30-foot aboleth, and then it built into itself a mechanical aboleth, represent like a 500-foot scale aboleth, or maybe smaller scale, who knows, whatever. But yes, Mechaleth. That would also be incredibly hardcore. Aboleth. Maybe that's what the catfish is. Maybe instead of a catfish, it's an aboleth. Or it's an aboleth that is in command of a catfish that's taking command of a clutch of Kuo-toa. So they're all enslaved to it, and has convinced its their priestess that the aboleth is an avatar of Blip Bloop Doop, and yeah, exactly. I could that would work. Aboleth controlling the Kuo-toa. Fuck it. It's a child of Blip Bloop a Doop, whatever her name is. It's a demigod. There it is. It's a demigod child of Blip Bloopadoop. 500-foot catfish, Scava soldiers. So Scava riders, cultist, Kuo-toa priestess, betrothed to Aboleth, creating Abo Nephilim and Scaver were-scavers. So the Scavers are were-scavers that are descendants of the priestess Kuo-toa and the demigod Aboleth. So the Abanephilim are the were-scavers. Stat as were-scavers. There we go. Blip Bloopadoop sounds good to me. We'll figure it out later. It's just fun. But holy shit, I am really digging this. Kuatoa, 500 foot. Catfish, commanded by fucking righteous. So it has all those tentacles, and it can have them just like you know, even Escaflowne style, have each tentacle up inside of a mechanized tentacle. And so it's going to have a 500-foot reach that can go out and it can do psionic damage with its Mind Blast. And it can like stun or like do commands like in a 400 like a 1200 by 1200 foot area. You could do a stun blast or like a suggestion, like a mass suggestion or a command. All sorts of like nasty psionic crap to fuck up opponents, and it just envelops and pulls you into the ship and into the water bubble and starts to drown your entire crew. So while they try to escape, they get grabbed up by Kuatoa, and then they get fetched over to the Aboleth, who then skin jobs them, so they become slimy air breathers, and now they're stuck inside the bubble because they can't breathe out of water as long as they get flicked every day by the Aboleth, their daily whipping, as it were. And wow, that's like Nyogi on steroids, man. Those guys would like be running the same rackets against each other. That's super fucking cool. That is righteously cool. Holy crap. Let's go into Laz Zaraxis, into the Saviors of the Multiverse, to the Space Invaders. Here we are. Here is our asset. We can recolor it. That's very big. Wow, that's super cool. Spelljammer's the best, man. Just the fucking best. I can build it. We can build that. Still a little bit big. There we go. I could probably just build this out into a single tower. That would probably make more sense, right? Where do we go from here, huh? If only we knew. Do a large grouping like that, I suppose. Getting organized is what we're doing. You know what? I'm thinking the damselfly can be here. That's a smarter way to do it. It's actually a lot smarter way to do it. Let's do that. Holy shit. We're going to rebuild this thing a little bit so it just stays in the shape that I want it to. It'll be a little bit of different design, but it's a really cool design. Goes there. That close this up. Ship. That's what I'm trying to do. Bump, bump, bump. This can just be its landing pad instead of that side hustle thing. Just use the underbelly of it. I think they were just saving. I swear they must have just been saving space. Like, this is a map we don't have to deal with. Just have the upper side, and we'll just ignore the underside. It's like, no, man. Let's do something with the underside. So when this is done, this dark outline is going to be the full space. So hold on, let me darken that up a smudge. There. See, that's the actual outline that we're going to have when this thing is done. So the damselfly just fucking sits there. So that's perfect. Like, this is the perfect place for him to have a landing platform on the underbelly where it won't get fucked around with. And it has all these trebuchets set up, so it can just have like a stair. Like, there can be a bunker here that opens up here that just leads right into the damselfly's tailgate. And you can stay under the bunker until you get into the towers here, and those just pop up. That's pretty fucking good. Change approved. It's a better Vocath. Fuck yeah, my guys. All right, so now we have a little bit more creative freedom over what we want to do with our turrets. Now that we know that this back tail is going to be occupied by a Starmoth, we could probably have this straddle. So, hey, what's up? Super Bobfish. Nice. Hell yeah. Do you know Lattice Araxis? I don't know if you've been here before. I don't recognize your name offhand. My apologies if you have been. If you had the honor of listening to me rant. So I can just toss these in the trash. Here, 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 here. Oh yes, thank you. Thank you. I didn't recognize your name. Ah, my bad. My bad. I'll learn who you are through frequency. How about that? You keep showing up, I'll learn who you are. That sounds like a fair trade, right? Trash. Did you hear the rant about the Kuatoa and the giant catfish? Right on, man. Well, I'm proud to have you. Thank you. Proud to have you. Let's see. Where are we? Yeah, those can sit there, and I figure. Yeah. No. That'll sit very, very nicely. Oh, well, it's worth your time going back and hearing. It was like maybe like 5 minutes before you got here. Pretty badass. Here's the cliff notes. I'll drop it in my Discord. You'll catch it there. But 500-foot catfish that is a mecha body, like a mecha suit for an aboleth. That's the demigod child of Blip Loopadoop, the goddess of Kuatoa. So it has a swarm of Kuatoans. It's married to a cult priestess. The off-breed that they have are Abinephilim, which are basically were-scabbers, or like humanoid scabber creatures that, yeah, can transform into scabbers. That Kuatoa can then ride as space sharks to fling psionic energy and stab at people with. That's the gist of it. Hey, right on, man. Fucking thanks for bringing that to me. That was Hornetico, you're the best, my guy. You are just the best. I think all my best brainstorming stuff is when you're around, man. So I am proud to have you when you have time to be here. There. So when I build this out proper, I can link these two here as a walkway. And then when I get this taken care of, I can resolve this one as well. We can build. Yeah, we should twist that. Twist. Twist. My best corn impression ever. I'm a big fan of Korn. I like them. I know that new metal gets laughed at a lot, but I fucking love that music. They are such great in concert. Really, really good band in concert. Got tons of energy. They're really just, you can just feel how much they fucking love being there. I think it goes a long way for me. I could drop another 2 here, but I think that'd be kind of like, I feel like that'd be like kind of squishing the space a little bit more than I want to. So let's just get back into this. Yeah, this looks like this is good cargo room, right? I mean, you could accommodate a much bigger ship here. It'd be able to fit. It'd be, you know, squinched, but it would fit. So I like that extra space being there. Maybe we'll like, oh, I don't know, like add a crane or something. Yeah, right on. I bet, yeah, man. I'm glad you're liking it, my guy. Yeah, I maybe I'll do the Kuatoa next. I'm kind of starting to feel the Elven Monarch. I definitely want to put that feather in my cap. So that's something I've been thinking about. I think those legs are in pretty good position, right? Yeah, those feel pretty good. And let's see. So then we can, let's just blend these down. Yeah, because I got the angled tilties right. Angled tilties, looking good. Let's do it like this. When in doubt, rotate. Perfect angle every time. No, and completely pointless. Fuck off. Let's see, but that should be the underbelly, right? So I only have to do half of it because I can just mirror over the other half. So, hey, question, what up? Does Vocath have a quick escape to get away on the Devil's Deal when things go sideways? Things don't go sideways. I'm thinking if this is where Vocath, okay, so if we're doing the arena, right? Roughly this is where the arena would be here. Like this area here. So his box, his his balcony seating, whatever it's called, his private booth. Thank you. His private booth is here, right, and it's basically like this. And then you got the doorway that opens, and you got the ramp down. That's what this is all about. And then it opens up. So like this is the structure of it, like this. Thank you, timer. So this is where his private booth is. This is where the wall to the arena is at. And here's the doorway that leads back to his private sanctum. And this is the underbelly. So you could have a trap door like right here that can just drop down, hit the gravity well, bounce him up, and be like half the distance. Like if half the distance past the if we have a gravity field like this, right, and here's Vocath's tower back here, and his damselfly is here. If this is half the distance that he would drop from here, then when he gets to the end of the gravity field and it runs out of gravity altogether, he would literally just be able to step off and walk on board his ship. So, yeah, he would just, at any time, he could like press a button and his chair could drop through, because he's a size large creature, so it has to be a 10-foot trap door. So he can just press a button and the trap door opens and he drops through the gravity. It pops out the other side. He flips the chair over, and then he just wheels it into. We could put it on a Tensor's floating disc. So his chair could be on a Tensor's floating disc. The chair itself is a Spelljammer helm, so he could float it, drop down, pop gravity, rotate while he does, come up the other side, right side up, and then just float over, and then dismiss the Tensor's disc. It drops down, latches into its lock, and now the devil's deal can fly off like that. Or if it has a Spelljammer helm already attached to it, then he could just have this one as a backup helm. Like maybe he has an escape craft on board the Devil's Deal that he would then be able to use his throne his throne helm. There you go. Because if he's gonna lend the Devil's Deal, you're right. Maybe the Devil's Deal wouldn't be part of the squadron. Ooh, because he might be selfish and keep no. I don't know, man. He might want to keep that to himself, right? Yeah, well, I mean, but I was thinking about using its extra squares to add to the squadron size. Like if we don't have the Devil's Deal in the fight, then you only have instead of 30, you have 29 instead of 31, and that's not a huge difference, but it is a difference. But I'm not 100% on that yet. But yeah, I like that. I like that gravity drop escape hatch idea. That's a really good idea. Thanks for bringing that to the front. Prawns. I am a big District 9 fan, so I'm getting big prawn mecha vibes off of this thing. Oh, this is skewed a little bit. Good to know. Yeah, fix it while we can. I mean, this is still really roughshod. I gotta really spruce this fucking thing up, but we're getting there. That's the point. The point is we're getting there. Yeah, this should be flush through here. Oh, look, that just really aligns with that wall there. That's good. Okay, good. That means we're on the right path. So. Yeah. That's a really strong point. Well, I mean, if that's the case, then he wouldn't be involved in this fight at all, right? I mean, he would be like, yeah, fuck off. It's like, yeah, I don't want to, I want to do, I want to do business with the Zaraxis. But I mean, if they're going to go out of business, I don't know, man. I recognize there's a flaw here in that it might not actually be in his best interest to get involved in a battle at all. So maybe we need to create a... I was just assuming it would be the Xeraxians, but maybe we need to make a synthetic threat like a separate like a pirate fleet or something, an alternate fleet. I don't like the idea of adding bandwidth like that, but I do see the logic and sensibility of Vocath not wanting to put his own shit under risk, and again, as you say, yeah, and then the larger logic of him not wanting to fight at all. But I mean, if he did get involved, if he got involved in a fight, he'd basically be killing his clients. That's the problem. Like, how much does Xeraxis actually? Well, they get helms from him or somebody. Some Mercane somewhere is giving these dudes helms. Unless there was reason to believe that perhaps the Xeraxians were attempting to develop their own Spelljammer technology. In which case, him assassinating all of them under the guise of protecting against genocide as a righteous cause would give him reason to be able to destroy them. That's our plot. And that makes him far more willing to actually assist the team. That gives him immediate buy-in. He's actually there to help assemble a fleet so that his brethren can eliminate the Xeraxian artificers that may be actually creating those helms on board the Imperial Citadel right now. Oh my. Maybe he's going to run a side quest of his own to try to track down the underbelly labs of that Citadel, find the scientists or the artificers that are at work, and either convince them to work for him or convince them to join the afterlife. Yeah. That's kind of a fun idea, huh? Yeah, because they do. So if one of them suspected there was hinkery going on, like how are these guys, like if they're keeping track of shit, it's like how are these guys getting more ships than we've sold them helms? What's going on there? And if they dig in a little bit deeper, they're like, huh, looks like these smart elves are getting a little bit too smart. That's actually, greed is always an excellent motivator. There we go. That completely just flipped the entire script. Yeah. So the Mercane is looking to build up the military of the nations of the different races that are in Doom space. His original plan was, if we build up enough military force here, if I can get them to buy enough ships, I can also convince them to go attack the elves and eliminate that threat for us. So he's been grooming Doom space. He's been grooming them to be assassins for him so that they could take out Xeraxis. He just didn't have enough ships to take them on. So when the heroes show up, they galvanize everything. Vocath fucking loves these kids. And all they have to do is stand off. He wants to see how their firepower is, to see how their helms show up. So he's going to want to capture a ship. And so that means that when the heroes show up and they galvanize everyone to fight against the elves, he's already been trumping up that the elves are a risk to them. So when the heroes show up saying, this is what we got going on, and then a bunch of elves show up, they're like, that's all that they would need to get pissed off. And that's going to be able to lock them almost automatically into working with, oh my god. This is excellent. They do have that weird setup in the Xeraxian Citadel that they're all linked together. Yeah. I can't imagine they appreciate having to buy a new helm from him every time one breaks just to move their Citadel. Yeah. So maybe, maybe their development of linked helms is superior to what the Vocath can offer by just linking helms. Maybe they actually have the ability to like centralize the force instead of having them scattered around. Maybe those are just like remote nodes, and like maybe they have a crown of stars that allows them, as long as all the nodes are in place, the crown allows them to channel all that energy together, so you can have just one single pilot instead of a whole bunch of pilots that have to remain in, like maybe they have like little spirits that they've like AIs bound into little helms that automatically offer their concentration to assist. So that's what the crown of helms is at. That makes a lot of sense. So Vocath doesn't want the Citadel destroyed. He wants to capture it for himself. So if you destroy the star and force them to flee into Astral Sea, they're sitting ducks for the Vocath, for the Hurricane to come in and just take control of the place, steal it from the elves, cast them aside, and then go steal the tech for themselves. And now the elves have a vengeance mission against the Hurricane. If they aren't completely slaughtered, there's going to be someone that remains, of course, that will be able to rebuild the technology, Muad'Dib style. Ooh, man. If the Zeraxians weren't such bastards, that would make a really cool plot line to help somebody. But they're utter bastards, so they just happen to have something really good going on. What an interesting layer. I'm really enjoying this. This is cool shit. It's becoming, this is what we in the industry call scope sprawl, where a project gets bigger than you originally intended it to be. But boy, that's just a few extra pages worth of exposition explaining how, and then we just go and we just swap out the entire arena stuff. I mean, he still has the arena. You can fuck around with that if you want. Do that first. Have them fucking around in the arena. I think that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, you're fucking around in the arena. The elves are en route. You get up from doing your fisticuffs and you take control of the fleet. It's like, what heroes? Obviously, multiverse. Scope creep. This sounds super fucking sick, man. Like, why build this combat and exploration book if we don't build cool shit like this to use it with, right? I mean, am I right? So yeah, change approved. Let's really consider making that a thing, because that sounds really fucking sick. I'll have to play test it, of course. I'll have to play test it, so I'll need to set aside a day and hire some people on to play test that with me. So I'll probably have to put out an open call for that once we get the assets built out and we know what we're doing. Before we actually build this thing out into a thing, I'll put an open call on my Discord and my Patreon. Patreons get first seat privileges. It's, they're willing to invest in me monthly. I want to invest in them when playtest opportunities come up. But if the seats don't get immediately filled by patrons, then I will post it for open call on my Discord. So anyone in the future that's catching this, if you think this stuff is cool, jump into my Discord, because preferably into my Patreon, because that's where you'll get preferential treatment. But when that happens, I'll have to do it on either a Monday or a Monday, Thursday, or Saturday, because those are my only free days to do stuff like this. So. Oh yeah, this is overextending, so I do want to keep that twisted so it stays inside the 500-foot space. That feels pretty good. I like that. Do I just want to? Yeah, I think I just want to duplicate the other one. I'm gonna take it all back. Take it back. Martha, why did you say that name? Martha. Why can't I go back any further now? Oh yeah, I am. There we go. Loop there. Just leave that be. It's fine. He chucks the players. What? To me, he chucks the players into the arena, not to screw with them, but to enamor them. Yeah. They're all warriors, so they all respect power. So it makes sense that they would initially be in the arena, proving their mettle. But then immediately when the elves show up, then it's an opportunity for them to show their military prowess as well, by taking command of the crew, of the squadrons, and leading all of them to have a successful attack, to successfully defend Vocath's base from the elves, that cements them in as leaders, they automatically win everyone's alliance. The only ones that they'd have to bribe or do some sort of negotiation with is whoever's ship gets lost. If you can get through the battle without losing anybody's ships, you automatically win all of them in your armada. Anyone that has their ship lost, you not only have to give them a ride to their place, but you also have to give them the stuff that they want, or win that diplomacy thing that's going on. So you can set up just some normal combat, like melee combat shit, for folks to play out inside the arena as a setup, so that when they actually get into the grit of it, they're hold on, checking. Why is this overextending? That's weird. I'm going to erase all of this because it's looking at me weird. So I'm gonna blip that. I'm gonna blop over here. Wow, that's fucking sick, man. I tell you what, by the time we get done with this thing, Light of Xeraxis is going to be a pretty fucking cool adventure. But, I mean, this is the kind of stuff we can do now that we have, like, fleet mechanics. These, like, you build them. The reason to have them is to build them into your adventure, so you can, like, literally shift the scale of the battles that you're having, so that things have a different feel, a different, like, significance, like building into fleet battles as a natural evolution of your characters becoming spell jamming heroes. That just makes sense that they would be able to ascend into that naturally. So I think we're pretty much on point with that. I want to take this and I want to skew this a little bit more. I shouldn't care about this so much because we're going to end up replacing all these things anyway, but it gives us the proper language of how it's supposed to look so that we know what we're getting into. This feels like it should tilt forward now. Super fucking cool shit. Yeah, that feels French. Let's do it. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know why I just said that. Like, stop trying to make fetch a thing. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Well said. That feels pretty good. I like that setup. Yeah, let's just keep refining stuff. I know I don't have much time left. I got 15 minutes left, so this has been productive in a much different way than I anticipated. I'm gonna give myself another 20, and we'll be done. Oh wait. Can I? No, I made a promise. I made a promise to my gal that I'd be done at 9:30. So we wanted to do a thing. It's TMI. You don't need to know that. And this will just level off, I guess. Yeah. This is the actual edge here. This is dropped edge. This is just off of the edge, like fall off. So I guess we, no matter what, I find myself doing a ring. I like the idea of that being. No, this can be open. I'm okay with that. We're all adults here. Don't fall off the damn edge. They don't have lips around the aircraft carrier. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. feel like I need to do anything. This is mostly just decoration. I could make that just it could be a giant sized spell amplifier. It could be just a massive eldritch cannon. That could be a thing. We can make a thing out of that. Boom, boom, boom. I feel like I want it to cleave that close. Yeah, let's just do that instead. Down. Ho, ho, ho. I am stoked. This is ridiculously exciting. This is a really good example of the value of third-party source content. Not to honk my own horn or nothing. That's not the point I'm making. The point I am making is that, like, if you get a monster manual like Flea Mortals or a KP monster manual or like a third-party book of spells or something, it just starts to simulate ideas like how can you use these things to make a new adventure. Right? It's like new mechanics is like a new monster or a new magic item or a new location or a new dungeon that you pick up. It's like what are the cool things that I can do with this thing now that I have it? And the more of a toolkit that you build for people, the more things they can do with it. Which is why I like doing a lot of add-on stuff and extensions and like bundling stuff and like building out smaller ideas off of the bigger idea. I just like building momentum with these ideas. It's just in general. It's just, I think that's a very satisfying thing to do. There, so like this is like an incline, right? So like that slopes down, which would go to the gravity plane that would bop up to the other side. So this would all be underbelly stuff that could potentially be crawled along. You know, maybe it could fold up. We were talking about that earlier on. So these things fold up like this, so they're out of the way. But it still leaves the lip. So I guess those could potentially fold up, just like. Oh yeah, that's neat. They can just fold up like this along the side of the building, and then these are up like this to create more armor. To reinforce, of course, to reinforce the structure. So all this stuff folds up. So when it unfurls, that's a layer of complexity I'm not sure if I want to maintain. Well, there's nothing wrong with having like a before and after, and like the underbelly isn't really like worth mentioning when it's all like curled up, and then we don't have to worry about showing the underside of it until it unfurls. I'll have to spend some time exploring the map with that. Obviously the day list explanation is that the Crab's Rock is that Crab's Rock. But I can't help but wonder why Vocath chose the form of a crab for the machine instead of, say, a big fish or a horse or a dragon. Because all evolution eventually leads to crabs. It is the ultimate form. Plus, it's kind of a lobster. I mean, that's kind of meta. I don't know if that would be his philosophy or not. But it's good enough for bullshit, right? Maybe I better lock that while I can. Devil's Deal. This is where I want to be. Maybe like that. No, I don't like that. I'm gonna go back. Could do that though. No, that feels more organic, more natural, or I guess whatever the inorganic, whatever the organic like feels right for machines is. Whatever that term would be. Let's do like that. Well, that doesn't make sense. Hold on. That's how it would be. That's a thick door. Build a fort like that. Like that. Got a lot of room up here, don't we? We do. Could put a shitload of trebuchet up here if we wanted to. Thank you. I got a timer going. It says 5 minutes and 12 seconds. Thank you. But yeah, I should probably be thinking about wrapping up, huh? I like that little, basically like a 5-foot gap there to walk around. Well, if I'm going to go with this more boxy formation, I don't have to worry about stacking them up in these tri-formations. You know, like one here, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I kind of built these joints backwards, didn't I? Like this should be the underbelly. This is showing the overtop. Like these legs are going up right now. I need to have them facing down. I built it upside down. I derpled. This machine here is fine, but this perspective, I have to CAD style flip this so it's upside down, like the reverse image of it. Yeah, that'll be our task for next time. But yeah, this is coming along, so we'll want to figure out like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 by 10. There it is. So we can do a 10d8 siege weapon assault times 10 damage. We can make the actual math work out so it's not all wonky. Oh, this is awesome. Holy shit. All right, so let's recant. Go back and grab our trash, which is where we started with. Good. Let's just gut check ourselves real quick. Wrong button. I'm glad I decided to write up that hip a little bit. That's perfect. Cool. And, ooh. Too small for trebuchet. That also means that like a 10-foot wall. That's a little unrealistic. So, actually, this is a really good scale to frame off of. But yeah, I can have a trebuchet there. And let's just build out a bunch of trebuchet real quick. Trebuchet. It's actually smart to spread them out a little bit so that they can't all be hit by the same fireball. Assuming it's not upcast, of course. I don't have any organization whatsoever here. Almost there. Stay on target. I see it. I see it. Thank you. Timely time. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. So those will be our 10 trebuchet on the bottom. Dragonfly, Mastercraft. We've made some good progress today, guys. I get to come back and do this again on Thursday. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. If this stuff is cool, I'm gonna be back in the morning in about 9-ish hours. To continue working on the Eberron creature tokens in the morning. I'll be back at lunch tomorrow in about 25 for 28, about 28 hours to continue working on the Ravnica Rumble Belt Hexcrawl campaign idea, and then Wednesday morning Eberron tokens, Thursday morning Eberron tokens, Thursday night back at this, Friday morning Eberron tokens, Friday lunch, more Rumble Belt campaign development. And then Saturday morning is my own workbench. I think I have a commission coming on. It's looming, but not quite here yet. So I might be working on a commission painting on Saturday. Otherwise, I'll probably be working on an Eberron map. So that's it for today. Boy, I am really excited to get back into this. This is so fucking fun. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you on the other side. Laters.